Hi, this is Jen the Holistic Health Boss, your functional diagnostic health practitioner and expert. And this week, I am sharing with you guys my most vulnerable blog post and health story to date. I thought long and hard about sharing this story with you, and I decided that it's finally time to share this part of my story so that hopefully I can help empower you or your loved ones who might be suffering from unanswered or ailing health conditions. So where do I start? I guess I'll start with just telling you the story. So this time last year, I was definitely brought to what I would call rock bottom in terms of my health. I, in the past had struggled with, weight gain and energy and different types of health issues, and I even had skin cancer. But what happened to me last year really shook me and literally took me to my knees in tears. So it all started kind of, the intensity of it probably started last February of 2016, and leading up until May, for months, every time I looked in the mirror, I was completely disgusted with myself, and I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I had acne all the time, and I was suffering from struggling with bouts of anxiety and depression, and literally every single day it was a challenge to keep myself, together in one piece. But I kept plugging away for some reason and pushing my symptoms to the side until my body just couldn't handle it anymore, and it forced me to basically pay attention. So I'll be the first to admit that even health practitioners like myself, we need help sometimes, and we need health practitioners. And this was definitely one of those moments for me when my body literally stopped me in my tracks and forced me to look at what was happening. So on April 30th of 2016, I literally woke up to what was happening. It was the morning after our best friend's wedding, and I had gotten up and gone for a run and came back to the hotel room and was getting ready to take a shower when I looked in the mirror and I saw this. So I hope you guys can see that okay. And that is a picture of my right breast. My right breast was severely inflamed and swollen, and it was radiating heat from the inflammation, and it was extremely, extremely painful. And this had never happened to me before. So of course, my first thought was breast cancer, and I started to freak out a little bit about that. But what came next really frightened me even more. And for any guys that are watching this or reading this blog, I want to ask you to hang in there, because parts of this story might actually resonate with you. And also for any of the women in your lives that may be going through something or experienced something similar. So here I am on April 30th, woke up with this inflamed red breast that had this huge red streak going from the center of the nipple all the way out to the underarm. I'm thinking, oh my God, breast cancer, what is wrong with me? And the week leading up to this, my right breast had definitely been tender, actually more tender than it had ever been before. When I would roll over in bed, it would be extremely painful, and even a seatbelt brushing across it when I got in the car was excruciating. And most conventional doctors will tell you that breast tenderness before your menstrual cycle, before your period, is normal, and I'm here to tell you that it's actually not, and I'll get to that towards the end. But this sensation and what had happened, and the fact that it was visible and the red streak, was what was so alarming to me. And not only that, but this continued for the next 3 to 4 days. So I had this inflamed breast with the red streak, irritation, and literally heat radiating off of it, where you could feel the heat coming off of it through 2 layers of clothing. That was certainly not normal. And all of that then set off, I had a 12-day period or menstrual cycle. So something was clearly wrong with my body. It was not happy. I spent that first week of May, diving into research, contacting doctor after doctor and practitioner after practitioner, trying to find answers for what was happening, because I was really alarmed at what was happening. And if it was breast cancer, I needed to take care of it or do something right away. I went to a couple of doctors here locally that supposedly specialize in women's health and breast health, and all of them literally told me to my face that they couldn't help me, that they've never seen anything like this before. They didn't know what to tell me or what to do. I even went to a functional medicine practitioner, Chinese medicine practitioner, who specialized in breast health specifically. They ran thermograms at their office, and he'd never seen anything like it either, and he wanted to give me progesterone cream, which my thought process was, why am I going to take progesterone cream and maybe create more of an imbalance when we don't even know what is happening? I had a mammogram done and everything came back normal. So I was really starting to get frustrated at this point, and I'm sure that the frustration was not helping with my health condition, whatever was happening at that time. But I felt at a loss. It felt very hopeless, and I talk to many of my clients who feel this way sometimes too. You just feel totally stuck and you don't know what to do. So at that moment, I decided I needed to take a really deep breath and step back and look at myself as if I was my own client, and what would I do? So I kind of zoomed out my viewpoint and started to look at all of the clues. Like, what exactly was it that my body was, trying to tell me? And when I looked at all the clues, what I saw was I had weight that had crept up on me over time. I had cystic acne on my face and even starting on my back that I'd never had before. I mean, I had never had acne in my entire life, like not even as a teenager. I also had hot flashes at night or randomly throughout the days. And I had feelings of depression and anxiety that would come and go. I also had heavy and sporadic and long menstrual cycles, and I had breast tenderness and overall intense PMS. So I immediately did what's called a Dutch test, which is a dried urine test for comprehensive hormones. And just as I kind of suspected, the Dutch test was able to show me that I had what's called estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance is when you have an imbalance in between estrogen and progesterone. So even though my total hormone levels, my total estrogen was low because I was on birth control at the time, the balance between estrogen and progesterone was off, and this can create estrogen dominance. Now, this is not something that it's likely picked up on your typical blood or saliva hormone test, because those types of tests will only look at total hormone values, versus something like a dried urine test actually looks at the metabolites of hormones, which means how the hormones are being broken down and being utilized in the body. So once I knew exactly what I was dealing with, I was able to implement a strategic and specific plan to help balance my hormones, which included things like eliminating toxins such as plastics and the mold that I talked about in last week's blog that create something called xenoestrogens in the body, which are basically, they mimic estrogen and raise estrogen levels. I also started eating more estrogen neutralizing foods such as flaxseed, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. I also started taking a couple different herbal supplements to balance hormones too. One that's called Dim Detox that helps again to neutralize estrogen or helps to convert and clear it. And then another one called Vitex that helps to boost natural progesterone levels so that those ratios can go back into balance with each other. And then I also incorporated more foods and supplements that help with liver, because the liver helps to excrete excess estrogen. So with this support in place for a couple of weeks, I also made the decision to get off of birth control, which had done a number on my hormones for over 17 years, because hormonal birth control pills or IUDs, they suppress our natural hormone production, which can create its own imbalances internally in the body. And by the end of June last year, after I had discovered all this and put my plan into place, I was already feeling more like myself. The bouts of anxiety and depression disappeared, the acne started to go away, and the breast tenderness never came back. And here I am a year later to the month when all of this came about, when I reached that rock bottom, and I am feeling like myself again. I have been acne free for months at this point in time, literally months. I am in complete control of my emotions again, and my period practically sneaks up on me because my PMS is so incredibly mild. So like I said earlier, it's not normal to have breast tenderness like this necessarily. It's not normal to have severe PMS or strong PMS symptoms. That's all signs that the hormones are out of balance in the body. Now, to be completely honest with you, I struggled with sharing my story today because I really morally went over this in my head. It's, you know, talking publicly about your menstrual cycle and sharing pictures of your breasts is not socially acceptable. However, I decided to share this with you today because the key takeaway here about my story is that you don't have to settle for anything less than you deserve when it comes to your health. When your health is suffering, it doesn't have to. When you feel trapped and hopeless, know that there is a solution out there for you. And if your doctor isn't helping you get better, if they're not providing solutions, then there's another health practitioner out there like myself that can help you. So those are the things that I want you to take away. I want you to feel empowered that, you know, sometimes you might have to keep searching for the solution, but that doesn't mean you have to be left suffering. If I had taken the words that those doctors had given me or those health practitioners that I had met with, I would probably still be here a year later suffering. But instead, I decided to keep plugging forward and looking for a solution, and I found that solution so that I could get back to feeling like myself. So I hope this encourages you guys, whatever it is that you're dealing with, just know that you can fix it, that the body wants to be in balance, and all you need to do is to find the right things, the right person, the right foods and supplements to support that. So I'm curious on how sharing my story with you today might have resonated with you. What parts of it really stuck out to you because you're maybe experiencing something similar, or maybe it's just this fact of, you know, being aware of something that's going on in your body. I would love to know. So you can comment below on the blog here or on YouTube, or go back to the email where you might have found this video and shoot me a reply and let me know how this resonated with you, what struck a chord, and how this helped you. So I hope this was insightful for you guys today to empower you to keep plugging forward in your health challenges, because you can get there. Your ideal health and weight is just within your reach. All right, you guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next Thursday.